Hello my nakamatachi, this is JoyGirl with a review of chapter 1012 of One Piece, titled Itch. And considering what we saw in this chapter, there's something that I want to do, something a little different, which is to open these figurines. Do I have a... Is this the right way around? Yep. Open these figurines. Okay, so I've had these for a couple of months now. I've had them for a while now. And mind you, I have been itching to open these. And you know what? Perfect. What better moment to do it than after what we got in this chapter. So, if you'll bear with me, this is pains me every time I open a new figurine. It's sort of like a... half of me is just extremely elated and the other half of me is just like, they're so... Okay, alright, okay, we're gonna do it. I'm glad that you guys are with me on this journey as we do this together. Okay. So we're gonna do Zoro first. Dun 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 dun. Oh, so much tape. Da-da. Okay, I'll have to sing it again once we get all the tape open. Alright. You, sir. Alright, we might as well do this now with Sanji so we don't have to do that again. Okay, alright. So, first, we got Zoro. Look at that. This is exciting. Okay. I have a lot of unopened figurines. There's a big set. There's actually a big collection that I am very excited to open. But we'll do it for a different, maybe a different milestone, maybe a different exciting chapter. Okay, so we've got Zoro out. Hey. Okay, move Sanji over there for a second. Alright, so this is Zoro in his uncompiled form. We've got a hand who's lost an arm, his 3 swords. Alright, it's just the base and ooh, this is exciting. Okay. Alright, we'll undo the base first. So, got the base. Let me move this out of the way so you can see it. Although I do need to find out. Okay, so we go. Where's 1? 2, 3, 4. Where? It's so funny. It has 1. It's on this side. Okay, so. Oh, this is so intricate. This is so intricate. Oh. Okay. Now we'll open up. I got the... Wait, we'll leave this there for now. Okay. Zoro and the swords. Alright, let's just... Come out, Zoro. Look at that. So he's missing an arm currently, also missing his swords. Alright, how do we do this? So, put these together. Feed it, so you feed it into his arm. Okay. Alright, so we feed it into his arm. And then also into, okay, so like that. So we feed it into his arm. like so. And then I imagine we put the hands, give him his other arm, I imagine. Alright, we got our arm. Wait, hang on a second, so how do you do this? Maybe we'll bend it a little bit? So intricate. Always love Zoro's figurines because he's got so many things to play with all of his swords. Okay, so there we go, we've got that. Time for his other two swords. So we've got swords 2 and 3, so that's he's holding the Wado Ichimonji already. Get a look at that. We've got the Sandai Kitetsu and we've got Shusui. So it's not Enma, it's his old swords. But still, very exciting stuff. And what do we have here? So what comes out first? Shusui in first, it seems like they're telling us. And then the Sandai Kitetsu. Now I'm not too sure how I'm gonna make this all fit. Oh, yep, there we go. Okay, so we've got... Am I doing this right? It's supposed to go in a little further. I'm not too sure how. I feel like the instructions is weird. I feel like, how do I fit Shusui in such a way so that this tassel can still be seen? Okay, there we go. Alright, we got there. Okay, so we've got Zoro, but before he's finished, we get some awesome wave rings. Okay, which I did not open apparently. I thought I did. Okay. Sorry, this is taking so much time. I didn't realize it would take this long. And we haven't even gotten to Sanji yet. Okay, so blue ring here, blue ring here. So exciting. So the bigger one must go here like this. No, this one goes here like this. And then this one over here like so. Okay, so we've got these blue rings, and then now it's time to put the man, the only, the swordsman. Ta-da! Okay, so we've got one down. Sanji. Alright, let's go with Sanji. And I think Sanji shouldn't take as long because he should have less things to assemble, but no less exciting stuff. Okay, this is... Okay, we got Zoro. Alright, now time for Sanji. Okay, yes, come on out, Sanji. Alright. Yep, like I said, less stuff to assemble. Okay. Oh. Don't know if it's just my excitement or if it's just all the moving around and the... I don't know if it's just my excitement or all the moving around, but I'm getting sweaty. You know, I'm getting it heating up in here. You know the reason why it's heating up in here? Because of Diable Jump. Diable Jump. Look at that. The Ring of Fire. Okay, let's go. So, Sanji's should be a lot easier to compile. So if we got, let's see, 1, 2, 3. So that should go here, the small one here. Yep, the Yeah, okay. Yeah, see, nice and easy. And then Sanji's. Okay, yep. We got it. We got there much quicker. And then, so we got Sanji. Come, look at that. Look at the face. Look at his kick. Okay, and put the two together. And look at that. Yes, how exciting. Okay, this is, oh, I love it. Okay, love it so much. So happy right now. Okay, look at that. And maybe this isn't quite fitting for this chapter because they're not as aggressive in this chapter. They're not fighting so much in this chapter. They're actually relying on each other. Well, Zoro's relying on Sanji and they're getting along. But you know, we'll discuss that in a bit. But still, I just wanted an excuse to have them open, to be honest. So we're gonna leave them here and they're gonna help us out for today's review. Okay, maybe I'll just put that right. Where can you see it? Maybe right over here. Okay. Okay, so now that's done. It's time for the review, you know, with some help of our dynamic duo. And we'll start with the cover page. So I've had some time to calm down and move on from the horror that I experienced whilst reading it for the first time, which you'll see in the reaction. Just the thought that someone wouldn't even realize birds on their heads. Or, I don't know, just even mentioning it's making me shudder again. But once I sort of got over that horror, I did have some time to, you know, pick up on some details and some things that I noticed. So, the bird that kid is constructing actually kind of looks like King. And got me thinking, you know, are we going to see a kid versus King fight? Or, although, you know, that's, you know, this is just a cover page and it was a fan requested cover page at that. So, you know, it doesn't actually mean anything. But if we were to just ponder about this cover page with a little bit more focus, I did start also thinking about the letters on Kid's shirt and that 99%. Got me thinking about Hawkins's prediction when he said that, you know, someone only has 1% chance of surviving. And then I spent quite a long time trying to figure out the Japanese letters that followed the 3 and the D on Kid's shirt. And took me a long time trying to see whether, you know, is it hiragana, is it kanji? And then knowing that, you know, there are thousands of kanji letters, I almost gave up. And then it, you know, dawned on me that you can actually use the Google Translate app to take a photo and it'll just find the translation for you. It'll find the characters for you. I mean, technology, wow. But so I didn't give up. Thank God I didn't, because apparently those letters mean track. So 3D track. I don't know. Is it sort of like, is the 3D? I mean, that obviously got me thinking back to Luffy. The 3D crossed out. You know, maybe it's actually 3 days. The D is meaning days, but so 3D track. Is it like we're on a 3-day track of the Onigashima raid? The Onigashima raid's going to take a total of 3 days? Is that what it means? And then is it after the 3 days we're going to see the 1% chance? Is it after the 3 days we're going to see a 99% chance of them surviving, you know? But, okay, so maybe it was actually better when I was sticking to just my horror and just thinking about, you know, the absurdity of someone having birds on their heads. Maybe that was less crazy. So we'll move on from that and we'll get to the chapter itself. So let's get on to the review, and chapter 1012 is what I would call a perfect setup chapter. So everything in this chapter just seemed to be setting things up for future events, and that wasn't being hidden at all. You know, everything from all the character interactions as well as the dialogue just made it very, very clear that we're being set up to see some future developments happen. And it did a really, really good job in making all the upcoming events seem really super exciting, and I just can't wait to see each single one of them unfold. And so let's go through them one by one. So first up, we get the scene of the Scabbards, and we get an update on the Scabbards, and we get an extended scene between Izzo and Kiku, of Kiku, you know, expressing how she felt when Izzo left, and that also threw in some Kiku maturity in that moment, which was great. And the first setup that we're introduced to is the idea of Kiku wanting to fight Kanjuro and actually saying that this time she will kill him in the process. And what's really interesting and something that struck out for me is that Kinemon actually says to, Kinemon tells Kiku to follow him, but never actually verbally agrees to the idea that Kiku will be the one to fight and kill Kanjuro. So there's some interesting possibilities about how this matchup against Kanjuro is going to happen. You know, is it going to be a one-on-one or is it going to be a two-on-one? And the reason why I say that is because I've always felt that Kinemon is the ideal candidate to fight against Kanjuro in this arc. If we think about how he's the leader of the Scabbards, so he has some sort of responsibility to take care of the traitor of the Scabbards, of the traitor who betrayed the rest of the Scabbards, as well as Oden, as well as the fact that as it seems like he's not going to be the one to defeat either Orochi or Kaido, then it seems like Kanjuro is a suitable opponent for him to beat in this arc, because Kanjuro seems to be getting built up as one of the major antagonists within the Wano arc. Also, Kanjuro's had a big story and he's been with us for quite a while now. So I like the idea that it's going to be someone else who we spent a similar amount of time with to be the one to, deal with Kanjuro. And so I think it'll be more exciting to see Kinemon rather than Kiku in this aspect. But unless there is some bit of history, some deeper, bigger history between Kiku and Kanjuro, which we aren't aware about, the Kanjuro versus Kinemon fight makes the most sense for me. The next setup that we might be getting is Nekomamushi versus Perospero, which I wasn't expecting, but I guess in hindsight it makes sense, I guess? I mean, Neko does have that relationship with Pedro, which is going to be that driving factor for him. But the reason why it surprises me is, I guess it's more from Perospero's side. I would always have thought that Nekomamushi is a lot stronger than Perospero, just based on their portrayals, but I guess it could really make for a very interesting fight. I guess Perospero taking on Carrot and Wanda and then that brief interaction with Marco was to tell us that, we should be taking Perospero seriously. But then it's just the fact that we saw Nekomamushi, go against Jack, and maybe it's just me, basing this off their bounties, which again, we do know that it isn't, reflective of characters' strengths. So, we're just gonna have to wait and see, and you know what? I'm down for this matchup. The next setup is Yamato possibly, going to join Luffy in the fight against Kaido. And we see Momonosuke use his ability, the voice of all things again. And what's interesting is his comment that Luffy is weakened. Now, the last time that we saw Luffy, he was very up and lively. So does Momo just mean that he's tired? Or does it actually mean something else? Does it mean something more? And does it mean that Kaido has now actually gotten the upper hand? The most exciting thing for me in this scene, though, was how Momo and, yes, Shinobu, we can see you peeping, was how they're reading Oden's journal. So it seems like we're getting multiple characters in the Wano arc, maybe finding out some of the secrets of the One Piece world, and it seems like so then that we might be finding out some of the mysteries within the world in this arc, and that's super exciting. Okay, next up, man oh man, my favorite interactions in this chapter, which was of course the Sanji and the Zoro scene. Okay, that was just a heartwarming as well as a hilarious scene. I love the fact that Sanji probably just didn't hear or listen to anything else that Law said after he said that Zoro needs splints, because that seems to be the only thing that Sanji did for Zoro, because he certainly didn't heed to the instructions of keeping his head up or making sure that he stays conscious. But speaking of Law, I also love just how cool he always has to be. You know, even as they've just landed, he's just there, he's cool, just poised and just chilling on Sanji's shoulder. Like, Law is just not allowed to look uncool, which is why that, you know, all of his reaction faces was actually was a very welcome surprise in the last couple of chapters. Or I guess it's been a while longer than the last couple, but you know what I mean. Anyways, back to this duo. I cannot tell you enough how much I enjoyed this scene between these two. I think it was just a much needed moment, not only for the story, but also for us fans. You know, just to remind us that they're not, you know, always fighting like they are in this, in these figurines, but that they're actually nakamas, and you know, that they rely on each other, that they trust each other, and they have faith in each other. You know, they might have a strange way of showing it, but they've got each other's backs and they're confident in this. And I love that it was showcased here in this chapter, you know, the way that Sanji was complaining the entire time, but still looking for a safe place to leave Zoro. And I love that this chapter emphasized in a very Zoro and Sanji way as to how important they both are. You know, we got Sanji asking Zoro, you know, what happened to him and, you know, who could have done this to him because it's Zoro. And then for Zoro to say, you know, Kaido and Big Mom, actually, you know what, Zoro was, you know, couldn't even say the and part of it. It was just Kaido, Big Mom. You know, he was just in so much pain, couldn't speak. And so then for that, you know, for Sanji to not even be surprised and then go, okay, you know, that makes sense because it's Zoro, who else could have rendered you to this state? Because, you know, it's Zoro and these guys are monsters. And then in a very Sanji way, Sanji got his also in a through very subtle details. Because of Sanji's presence, Zoro feels like, you know, he could relax and that he could feel like he actually could rest properly. And, you know, we actually saw that he falls asleep a couple of times because he knows that he feels safe enough to do so. You know, we had this scene back in Zou when everyone was worried that something might have happened to the crew, and Zoro was the one to say, you know, nah, Sanji was there, he wouldn't let that happen. And we also saw something quite similar in Thriller Bark, where after taking on all of Luffy's pain, we see that Zoro remained standing and remained, you know, awake, as if to symbolize that he wouldn't let himself go to sleep, wouldn't let himself pass out, because in case that someone else showed up like Kuma did, who would further endanger and further harm the Straw Hats. And it's only when he sees that Sanji's awake and after he sees Sanji that Zoro lets himself pass out, you know, after all of that pain, because it's like as if to symbolize again that, you know, now that he knows that Sanji is awake, he feels that the Straw Hats are safe and that they're secure and that he no longer has to remain up and alert because he knows that Sanji will keep them safe and make sure that no further damage happens to them. And this is what I love about One Piece. The scene just really fits the characters. Sanji isn't shy about, you know, acknowledging Zoro's strength without actually telling him directly. And then Zoro is also recognizing Sanji's without actually saying anything. And, you know, I just love it. You know, I miss scenes like this. The earlier interactions in this arc were just so brief, and so I just really missed, you know, acknowledgements like this. I just love it so much. You know, it was funny, it was heartwarming. I love it. And, you know, it's just so true to the characters, how Sanji gives Zoro a backhanded compliment about how he's surprised that he even actually got up to the rooftop. You know, little does he know that Zoro actually had help from Marco, who flung him up there. But speaking of which, where Zoro goes from here, however, is, you know, hard to tell because he's all bandaged up. But then in saying that, he is also shown sleeping, and we do know that that is how he usually recovers because this is One Piece. All he needs is sleep to, you know, fix all of his broken bones. Actually, you know what? Get the man some milk. But then in seriousness, we do have 3 doctors here on Onigashima, which is, you know, something that I've mentioned a few times now. Although whether we're actually going to see Zoro, you know, get some proper treatment from doctors is a good question because Law didn't seem so concerned in actually treating him himself. But, you know, so that's also a question. But Another thing that I, realized, or another thing that I noticed, was that we actually can't see Zoro's, swords. We can't see his 3 swords in this chapter, which leads me to think that maybe he was bandaged up. Maybe the swords were bandaged up with him inside, and he's holding his 3 swords inside with him. And then that leads to some really fun, wild ideas in my mind about what we might see in the future. And what I think we could see happen in sometime later on is that Zoro actually, joins the fight again once he's done sleeping, once he's done recovering. And what he does is he comes out and he emerges, joins the battle by, slicing off the bandages himself. I mean, how awesome would that be? You know what? It could actually be it could be like a callback to Enies Lobby. Similar to how in Enies Lobby when Zoro was fending off, 2 of the CP9 members, we could actually see that here with Sanji. Maybe Sanji is fighting the calamity, the calamities, King and Queen, maybe he's fending off the calamities. And then right when it's needed the most, we'll see Zoro just slicing his way out of the bandages to come and help Sanji. And oh my goodness, how cool would that be? Or you know what? Maybe you could or a much more, or a funnier scenario we could add to Queen's events of, mishaps and Queen's mistakes in this arc. We could add to Queen's list of failures, where he might actually be the one to accidentally free Zoro from the bandages. Maybe he sees Zoro bandaged up and thinks that this is the perfect opportunity to, take him out for good. And then what he does instead is actually just break Zoro free. Zoro, who's been waiting and he's been itching, to fight, and goes, you know what, this is exactly what I needed, and then joins the fight. Or maybe, Queen is, throwing an attack, blowing an attack on someone else who avoids the attack, and it actually hits Zoro and frees him up instead. So Queen actually being the one to free up Zoro would be hilarious. But I think just for the sake of, seeing some badassness and seeing the coolness, I think I would like to see Zoro slicing his way out instead. So that's the one that I'm going with. But you know what? However Oda decides to show this moment, I'm calling it now, guys. There is going to be a moment. Okay, anyways, let's get back to the chapter. So these 2, along with Kawamatsu and Izzo, are joining in on the performance floor. And the performance floor is about to get truly wild. We've already got some big players there. We got Chopper, we got Marco, we've got Hyogoro, we've got King and Queen. And now we're about to throw in some Straw Hats and some other Scabbards into the mix. And I just can't wait. This is wow, exciting. But now let's move on to the last scene and the last setup. Just a chaotic scene full of angry women. Love it. So we get a continuation of the last chapter, and we get that nice panel, that nice scene of Big Mom standing over Page 1, who's buried underground. And man, Page 1 isn't looking so good right now. I guess we could maybe say Page 1, Toby Roppo down. No, I think he's going to come back up so that it's going to be Usopp who can close that book for good. But back to things that actually happened in the chapter. We get a fun interaction between, Ulti, Big Mom, and Nami. And I love how Nami was just, trying to coax both sides to fight each other, only for them to both turn against her and say that the Straw Hats are next, to her horror. And I actually really love this moment for Big Mom, and I think it says a lot about her character, that she's not, it's not a full amnesia moment, she hasn't fully returned to Olin, and that she's just continuing to do whatever the hell she wants, I think that says a lot about her character, just the fact that she's not an alliance member, she's not allied to the Straw Hats, she's just a friend of Tama's, and she's going to do what she wants to do. And right now, what she wants to do is hurt Ulti, who in turn is really, really mad because Big Mom just dropped her brother. And just quickly, there's a panel which seems to show Ulti's face, and I'm not too sure if that was an error or if it's just her mask drawn like that, because I believe Ulti and Page 1 don't have normal mouths underneath those masks, and I'm waiting for a huge backstory similar to Katakuri. But with all of these angry women, I've got to say that my favorite out of all 3 is Nami. Miss number 3 in the WT global poll is mad. Nami's maternal instincts kick in as she's furious at Ulti for putting her hands on Tama, which is nothing new. I mean, we've seen Nami have a protective side and, care for young children before, but I thought this was really well timed because it was Mother's Day in Australia yesterday, and I think it might have been also everywhere around the world. Although, in saying that, I think in Korea, we only have a Parents' Day and not separate Mother's and Father's Day from memory. Anyways, it was Mother's Day yesterday, which is also technically, when One Piece officially released. I'm not too sure how I'm not too familiar with how all the time's going on at the moment. But anyways, it's just, we see that Nami, who has always been a feisty little lady, but has also been, has traits from her mother, from Belle-Mère, and her protective side, and we get that in full display, and I thought that was just really lovely to see, and what a nice reminder for Oda to just plop that into this chapter, just right time, perfectly timed for Mother's Day. Anyways, I love this. I just love this for her character. She's got some extra motivation for a fight, for a meaningful fight, and a fight that's, fitting for her character. As to how this fight will pan out, I'm not too sure, it's hard to tell, because she's up against a Zoan whose, main strength is durability. Not to mention speed, which we saw in this chapter, but whatever new ability Nami's going to have to unlock and unleash to break through Ulti's durability is something that I'm really, really looking forward to. Overall, I'm just really loving where Nami's, character is developing and where it's heading towards in this arc, and I'm just loving that Nami's getting this focus. Anyways, it was a pretty short chapter this week. Short but sweet and, short and no less exciting. And there is no break next week. So I am, hopeful that we might actually see some more Straw Hat focus in next chapter. But anyways, with that thought, we are brought to the end of today's chapter review. I hope you had fun and I hope you enjoyed the unboxing of my Zoro and Sanji figurines. And don't forget to leave a comment below about, what sort of matchups, what sort of setup you're most looking forward to seeing in the next couple of chapters to come. And, stick around for the reactions if that's something that you're interested in. Don't forget to like and share the video. And please don't forget to subscribe because I do have some very exciting things planned for this channel. Some new exciting videos that I've got planned up coming up. And I would hate for you guys to miss out on those. So please don't forget to subscribe. But this is JoyGirl. And I'll see you again soon. Bye. Hello. Okay, let's do it. Chapter 1012. And it's titled Itch. Okay. Itch. Okay, what sort of crazy things are we gonna see today? So we've got a cover page. And it's another fan request. He's building a bird out of scrap metal. That's so cute. So he's been building a bird using his metal, using his magnetic forces, and he didn't realize that his hair has been turned into a bird's nest. That's cute. That's actually my worst nightmare. That is my worst nightmare, having birds on my head. But, it's cute for this cover, page. Alright, let's get to the chapter itself. Okay, we got the Scabbards. Okay, we're going back to the Scabbards, and they're in the connections hallway. So it's a hallway from the treasure repository back on the 2nd floor to the castle on the 3rd floor. So they're going back up. It was really nice, wasn't it, to see Izo and Kiku being placed one after another in the global popularity poll. I mean, I don't know if that was just a coincidence or not, but if it wasn't, I mean, that's amazing. Even if it was a coincidence, that's also amazing. But anyway, so look at that. The older brother taking care of Kiku. Okay, so Kiku, that's where the itch is coming in. My arm, it's just an itch. Pain, I'm a samurai. Oh, no worse than the itch that I felt when you left this country for good. Wow, what a reminder. Okay, we've got some foreshadowing here. Oh, who's gonna survive? Who's not gonna survive? That is the question. We win or we die. Oh my goodness, just the foreshadowing here is crazy. Oh, it seems like they're just joining the fight. I thought that they were going to go back to the rooftop, but... Oh. There, okay. So Kiku wants to make up for, what she did last time, how she wasn't able to finish Kanjuro off, and she's saying, Kanjuro, leave him to me. I will finish him off for good this time. Maybe it was just the last, that was just the last, what is the expression? It's too early in the morning. I can't think of it. I'm losing my English here. That was the last straw. That's what it is. That was the last straw, wasn't it? The fact that he played a trick on them, made it out as if Oden was going to be, that Oden was back alive, tricked them when they're down, made them feel with hope, and just to, kick them when they're down, just to pull that sort of last bit of, hope away from them was just too cruel. And then what it meant for Ashura as well, the fact that they might have, possibly lost one of their comrades, because of that, it's just that was it. Kiku's saying, no more, I am going to finish him off for good. Okay, so they're all splitting off. Okay, so the samurais, the Scabbards are splitting off into different places, and I cannot wait to see who they join up with. Very, very, very early on, I made a video about, what the future matchups might be. And, if they're all splitting off, this might mean that my ideas about who we're going to see fight might come into, fruition, but we'll see. Kiku with me! So it seems like Kin's also heading towards Kanjuro. Oh, Nekomamushi's finding out about Pedro. No. Oh. At least Nekomamushi's taking it better than I did. And it's the pride that they played a role in allowing Luffy and the rest of the Straw Hats, or whoever the part of the Straw Hats who were there, in able to actually leave Big Mom territory, leave Whole Cake Island relatively unscathed, relatively safe, and Pedro did play a huge role in that, so there's that sort of pride for Nekomamushi. Ha! Okay, so it seems like Neko's going to have a go at Perospero. Ha! Yes, I was not thinking of that matchup, but you know what? That's great. It's so funny, there's just like a little bit of more, there's just bits and pieces of information getting added on about the castle more and more as the chapters keep coming out, just... So Yamato's saying that they're gonna split off as well, and that he's going to use a little sack toy as Momonosuke. You know what? That's not bad. That's not bad. I think that's a pretty. I'll pay it. That's an alright imitation of Momonosuke. It's sure a hell lot better than what we've seen where Luffy tries to draw imitations of his Straw Hats of Nami, for example. So you know what? I'll pay it. And I love Momonosuke, you just want to go fight. That's funny. And so there's that itch again as well. Yamato's just itching to go fight. And we're getting reminded of Momonosuke's ability. Okay, this is interesting. So, Momonosuke is starting to read Oden's diary, Oden's journal, and it's so funny. Shinobu's just like reading from a corner like this, like, oh no, I shouldn't peek. That's your personal time. It's your father's journal. I don't have a right to look. But that's how I used to watch movies when I was young. I used to watch scary movies like this. It's funny. I wonder what Momonosuke is going to find out from this, Is this going to be the way that we find out about some of the mysteries? Maybe something will click, for Momonosuke as he's reading and going, oh, hang on a second, maybe that's why I have this sort of ability to be able to hear voices. Anyways, second floor. What is Sanji holding? He is worth 330 million bellies. You gotta take him out. That's awesome. Look, what is he carrying? He's carrying a cross. That's so funny. It's like, it was Easter in Australia a month ago now, actually. Wow, time's gone by so quickly. It's just like, sort of like Sanji carrying the way of the cross. Very, biblical imagery there. What? That might be Pirate Hunter Zoro in there. What? Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness, he is! What? That's Zoro! What on... I got... that is a few dozen minutes earlier. Okay, so... just give me a second. Alright. Also, Sanji was there to watch it all happen. And... why couldn't it be girls? That's amazing though, that's cool. Look at Law looking still so cool, just perched. Still always so calm, always so chill. Always so very well posed and poised. Anyways. He's got 20 or 30 broken bones. Give him splints, keep his head facing up, and make sure he's conscious and breathing. So it's interesting that we, I think I said before that we've got options as to the doctors who could treat Zoro in his condition. It seems like he's not even getting a proper treatment, but he's just getting bandaged up. Yeah, let's see Sanji. I'm not a doctor, I don't have time for this. Oh, that's an awesome moment between them though. That's so good. I love this. I love that we just got this, you know. Oh, I mean, we saw that they had a squabble earlier and that they've returned to their sort of duo, to their dynamic. But we've get this, you know, brief moment of just real nice interaction where Sanji isn't, it's not like Sanji's even making fun of Zoro, he's just saying like, you know, what happened to you? Like, for you to get into this state, that must be like something, you know, very, very fearsome. And Zoro's like, yeah, I was fighting the Yonko, I was fighting Kaido and Big Mom. And Sanji's like, okay, then yeah, that's about the only thing that could explain why you, of all people, would be in this state. And, you know, that really has a lot to do with, you know, that sort of respect, and acknowledgement of Zoro's strength. So it's just, again, just such subtle, nice moments that Oda gives us that just packs so much meaning. And then look at Zoro's faith in Luffy, you know. He's going to win. Luffy's going to win. He's figured something out and Luffy is going to win. I love it. Love it. Where should I go to set you down? Zoro's already asleep. Yeah, he needs that rest. Oh, look, Big Mom is still going. Oh, we're getting a return to Big Mom versus Ulti. Yes. Was it you? Did you burn down Okobore Town? I cannot wait to watch this animated. Oh, see, Ulti's going in, she's angry. How dare you hurt Pepe? And Nami's using this to her advantage as well. You know, a little white lie. And see, that's great. See, that's actually so interesting. So Big Mom turns to them and goes, you guys are next. You think you're out of this? No, I'm coming for you Straw Hats next. So, you know, it's a really interesting dynamic here that we've got. So Big Mom hasn't, you know, it's not like she's forgotten about her role here, about, you know, her mission here at Wano and what the Straw Hats did to Whole Cake Island, did to her island. But it's just, there's just a more pressing matter at this moment because of her friendship, because of her relationship to Tama and the rest of the Okobore town who left a deep impression on her. It's just nice character development for Big Mom. And then Nami's like, okay then Ulti, you go get her. You're the goddess now. Straw Hats can't win. Ulti's like, no, we're not teaming up. You and I are not part of an alliance now. I'm gonna be coming after you next after Big Mom too. So for them, it's just like, okay, we're gonna run away then. What? That's crazy. Oh no, poor Komachio. But that is nuts. Look at Ulti's speed. What? And then she's back. Oh no, she's gonna deal with Komachio first. Oh, and then she slapped Tama. Oh my goodness. As if she has the guts to do that. Did she just not understand why Big Mom is pissed off? And she's gonna go slap Tama. That's gutsy. It's also so cruel. You know, Tama's 8 for goodness sake. Oh my god. I liked Ulti, but this is a level of viciousness that I wasn't prepared to see. Oh no. I mean, I guess, okay, yeah, she just did see her brother getting extremely endangered, but still, I mean, take it out on Big Mom. Don't take it out on someone like a third of your size. Oh, oh yes! Yes! Yes, Nami! See, Nami is the true goddess! Oh my goodness! That's amazing! Far out! That's not what I was expecting! This is amazing! Who said you could hit Tama? Yes! What? Oh my goodness! She hit a child. I'm not leaving. I'm not getting out of here. I'm gonna stay here and crush her. This is so great! Oh no! Oh my goodness! I love that so much! What? Oh, that was wild! Oh, wow, that was wild. I can't, can't believe it. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm so excited to see what that's going to mean for Big Mom and Nami's relationship going forth. You know, is it sort of like, it seemed earlier in this chapter, it was sort of like, no, your enemy is, an enemy of my enemy is not my friend. But, you know, are we actually going to see that happen? In this case, now that Big Mom knows that, you know, Nami actually, maybe she'll come to respect Nami as well, and will she actually just say, you know what, actually, I'll give you Zeus, or I'll give you Hera, or is that just too conciliatory? Anyways, what an awesome chapter. That was such a Straw Hat focused chapter, and I love it. You know, we got a lot of updates on things, on characters whom we haven't seen in a while, and oh, what a way to end that chapter. It's not what I was expecting. I was expecting for Big Mom to, you know, smash and crush Ulti. I was not expecting that from Nami, and oh, I can't. Okay, alright. And there's no chapter break next week, so there is a chapter next week. So I'll see you guys all again to see just what crazy, amazing moments we have for next chapter. But for now, bye-bye.